Good morning, English learners. As advertised, I will have my group live with guests. I'm just going to add them now. I will be discussing all things learning English. Okay, let's add them in now. And when they join, they will just join the conversation. Okay, so I'm due to have 3 guests, all going well, and we'll discuss learning English until 11 o'clock, so it should be about an hour of discussion. I'm doing fine, thanks. Thank you to the people who've entered already. Hope this is interesting for you. I should have. Yeah. That's how we got an issue. Some people going in. Okay, so few guests having difficulty getting in. Okay, I've sent the invites. Just say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Good
trying to get the
morning.
good morning. Just making sure I've got all the guests in here.
Can you
I
can
can
you see
hear you.
me?
Yeah. I will do when I've finished sending these invites. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's great for you.
Are you sideways?
The position of my camera is okay for you?
Yeah, let's go sideways.
So far so good. All right.
Yeah, sideways. Still looks
Okay, man,
better.
it's been a long time. What has
Yeah,
happened to you?
it's just staying on top of work. Uh, Wanting to get more lives going. Should have. I did invite the others. I don't know. Has Leonardo said anything? I sent the invites to the other people.
No,
So I
no.
don't
She
know.
said that she would be here. She said she should be here with us, sharing
Yeah,
the live, but
it's not quite 10 o'clock yet.
he
We're a little
didn't
bit
talk to
early.
me today or yesterday about it. But
Yeah,
maybe he'll be here.
I believe it should be fine. Don't have any trying to get in.
All right.
I think the invites.
Drinking just a little drop of coffee to wake up.
Yeah, but you've not started your working day yet.
That's it.
I've I've had my morning, my early class already. I've got a little gap now until you know how it is. You quite often with the job we do, you work when other people don't. So I always have the early morning classes, and this is the
What
kind
time
of
do you have
time.
the first one?
Today 8 a.m., but sometimes I have a 7 a.m. and
All right.
then there's usually a little gap until sort of 2 p.m. It's when I have time to do other things. 2 p.m. is when you get
I
the
don't.
children classes after school. See if we got any.
Mhm. I don't
Haven't
have I
got
don't
an
have
answer.
classes so early because my students prefer a little bit later. But I would prefer to start my classes about 6 or 7 because I can spend the morning doing another thing. So,
Yeah,
and after school I go to
I
school.
think it's good having the mid to late morning free. I wonder where the others are, but I did send the invites. I'll send the invites again. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have problems. Uh, and I don't know what's happened here, but um,
Gislan said anything. What does she say?
not yet.
Gislan.
Um, Everyone said they were in yesterday, but people are late usually. You were early. That's different, isn't it?
Mm.
Um,
I can see. Yeah, my wife just entered here. Gislan.
yeah,
You see her?
she's watching.
What did she
I
say?
said, um, she's not said anything. I guess she's just watching to see where you are. It said that
Uh,
it said on here that Leonardo can't participate on the Instagram, so I don't know what's happened here. Um, so yeah, we'll see if they answer. I don't know what's. Yeah, says they can't. I don't know if that's a technical
mhm.
fault or whether
Did
they've
you talk to
rejected.
him this morning?
No, this morning, yesterday, he said he was in. He'd even shared the. I'm sure he'd shared the advert as well. I thought he'd be here, but anyway.
Try sending him a message. Maybe
Hmm.
would be better.
Yeah,
So I can see friends here. Lucas Joe
yeah,
is the singer, the rock singers like me. We sing the
yeah.
same music style. And Professor Lucas Rocha is also here. Hello, Lucas.
Ah, there's your friends coming to watch. Okay.
Yeah, some friends of mine. If you guys need to study English or just press, Gareth will be here. I'm here as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you should introduce yourself to my friends because maybe you don't
Ah,
know. They don't know you.
yeah. Any friends of Roberto's who don't know who I am? It was a little while ago before the pandemic. I started working at the same English school briefly for the Sinitaigara, as a suburb of Salvador. We were at the uptime, so I did the training there and started. And then the world ended. We had the pandemic, and we stayed in touch. We had a little WhatsApp group, and
Yeah.
we stayed in touch. Same story with Leonardo, who's not entered yet. So yeah, that was that. So we stayed in touch. Uh, we talk on the WhatsApp, exchange a lot of cat memes quite often.
Especially
This
about
kind of thing.
football, music.
Yeah,
Now we are Bahia,
yeah.
and yeah, maybe I need to change my football team over there in England because Bahia is like becoming part of the City group. So maybe I'm gonna be a Manchester City fan.
Uh, it's an
is
easy club to support when they keep winning everything. But yeah. But who did you
yeah.
like before?
Yes, I know about the Premier League. I watch sometimes I watch the matches,
Hmm.
but I didn't have a specific group team over
Yeah.
there. I used to watch because I like football. And
Hi there. That's Leonardo Queiroz. Hi there.
yeah, it's Leonardo Queiroz,
Is
Leonardo.
that your friend? Is that your friend?
He's my friend. He's my brother.
Yeah. So
He's a lawyer.
a lawyer.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. We used to. I know him since 96 or 7. We studied together in the high school.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a lawyer and he's an amazing lawyer, He's involved in some causes about black people, for example.
Hmm.
And
So he's a human rights lawyer.
I don't know, is this, no, maybe it's war area. I really don't know which area he was at. But, well, you can tell us which area do you work?
Hmm.
996, yeah, Leo. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us which area do you work right now about your job?
Yeah, Leonardo. We're waiting for it to pop up down the side.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he was talking to me that he wants to improve his English skills about the language.
Yeah. I.
Could be better for him.
That's somebody else answering, not an answer. Um,
Yes. What's the name? I cannot do the name.
Fluv, Fluviogis 9.
Okay, Fulvio. Fulvio is a friend. He's a musician, and he plays guitar.
Mm-hmm. In your band?
Who else? I cannot see from here. I don't know what is that. But
Uh,
okay.
Als, Alson Marias. Some of these people, well,
Yeah, so I
know us
cannot see
personally.
him.
A lot of my
But if you are
Instagram
here, you can
following.
understand us. You can talk to us. You
Yeah,
can ask about English skills, about Gareth. Gareth is a guy from England,
yeah.
uh,
Uh,
and
I don't
he's
know.
living here for how long? Gareth?
5 years.
For 5
Dudu
years.
Lira Leo. Indian Iron Maiden cover rock real
Yeah,
cover.
yeah. I have a Iron Maiden cover band,
Yeah.
and you're gonna play in a festival in September.
Mm-hmm.
September? Yes, on 19th. No, no. 9th on 9th September. Yeah.
9th of September. That's just
Yeah.
this year.
It's a
I'll be going
festival.
to
It's gonna
rock.
be a
Yeah,
festival with many bands,
yeah.
cover
My
bands.
wife and I
With
had seen
Iron
the
Maiden,
adverts. Hmm.
what do you say?
My wife and I had seen the adverts, but we'd already got tickets to Rock and Rio, so we're going to be there.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm gonna see Iron Maiden in São Paulo, not in Rock in Rio. I'm gonna
okay,
see
are
them.
Iron Maiden at Rock and Rio again? Because some of the tickets sold right away. The When I'd seen the lineup before the tickets went on sale, I wanted to see the Offspring more than the others that were on the list, and we managed to get the dates. Got the Offspring, which also has Capital Inicial. So I'll go see Capital Inicial. I think they're quite good. Um, who else is on that day? Guns N' Roses. I don't know how good they are now. I think they were good a long time ago. But I'll probably go see Guns N' Roses too. See if they're still good. um, they're old stuff. I know quite well. I've not heard a song of theirs that's come out after 1992 or whenever. So we'll see. We'll see if they're still good. Gonna be there
Yeah.
anyway. You might as well take in the shows. My wife says there are many other attractions. So there's that date's got this. The other day I'm a bit less bothered about. She says she wants to see Avril Lavigne. I'm not really that bothered about that. I think Green Day are that day, and they're probably okay. I can't remember who else is on that day. But I was actually excited about seeing the Offspring because I've been a big fan of theirs since I was a
Is your
child.
favorite band?
Not my favourite one band, but they're a band I've liked and been a big fan of for a long time.
Maybe you
So yeah,
prefer Arctic Monkeys or
yeah, I prefer these
maybe.
guys, but yeah,
Mhm.
I would still say they're in my top 10 favourites, The Offspring, and I've been a long time. Uh, but very good band. So quite excited about seeing them live. And there's my wife says there's other things to do at Rock and Rio, so when there's some music there that sounds absolutely terrible, or some stuff that sounds like I don't know what that is, so I don't know. Of course, the name's not familiar. You don't know what kind of music they make, so you don't know if it's good until you hear it. So I might have to do a bit of research on some of these bands and artists that
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with. Uh, but yeah, I would be interested in that thing you were playing at if I wasn't at Rock in Rio already, which I'm sure would be just as good.
Yes, I would love. How about your wife? What is her favorite music style and band?
uh, she likes both sort of the rock from uh, international rock, and she does like MPB a lot. Uh, I think her favourite's the Beatles. A band that's still going. She likes the Arctic Monkeys too, so she likes a lot of the stuff I do. Uh, Still going with the original lineup. I'm not sure exactly what her favourite would be. She keeps changing her mind on things like this. But we do have quite
Okay.
similar tastes in rugby in music, and yeah, I think it'd be difficult being married to somebody that has a completely different taste in music. I mean, drastically different. You know,
Yeah.
if somebody was really in, it's one or two bands you don't like, or I like the odd band or two she doesn't, vice versa. That's one thing. But disliking a genre altogether. For example, she don't really like punk or heavy metal that much, but I like especially punk quite a lot more. And I do like heavy metal, and she's not really into it. Uh, she needs converting.
You can make an agreement at home, no problem about that.
Yeah,
Just to listen a kind of song. Okay, in the morning. Okay, next weekend you're gonna listen to your music style. Next weekend you're gonna listen my favorite. So just about an
yeah,
agreement.
yeah. Not got an answer
What about the
from.
other guys? Leo and
Uh,
the other.
Not got
Are
an
you
answer
coming?
from him. I've not got an answer, so I don't know if there's a problem. But anyway,
Okay.
who's here is here.
Uh,
At least I'm not
we're gonna
talking to myself.
if you prefer, uh, we can make a conversation here about your experience here in Brazil. How are you living here? What do you do? If you miss your city, your country,
Certain
and
things.
after I can talk about my experience here with the language because I'm a non-native speaker. You are a native speaker, so we have the same experience as English speaker, but in a different perspectives. So what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Well,
Let's at first talk about your experience here in Brazil. Brazil is the place that before you come here, did you have any expectation about Brazil? And so if you had after come here, this expectation were the way that you were expected. So Brazil is exactly what you thought about.
um, sometimes you don't think that much about what a country's like until you think about going there. So, like famous exports from Brazil, you think it's a really seriously football mad country, which it is. That's why I thought it was weird when I met my wife and she didn't like football, and my dad thought that was weird too. Like, you mean she's Brazilian and she don't like football? That was.
And
um,
samba.
yes, Samba's famous. People who are old enough have heard of bossa nova, so not me. Well, I know what it is now being to Brazil, but somebody maybe bit older than my parents can remember. Somebody who can remember the '60s, I think, can remember these guys. Um, I think it was when Brazil last won the World Cup, so that'd have been 2002. So I'd have been about 11 or 12 then, nearly 12. Less about this. We won't talk much about this World Cup, but never mind. uh, Mascanada, I think it was a Sergio Mendes, isn't it? This song ended up being quite popular around the time of the World Cup. So it's a song that kind of go-to song to use to kind of
Jorge
illustrate
Benjol
because
song.
was it George Benjamin Mascanada?
Yeah,
Was
Jorge
it?
Benjol.
Okay. he did it before Sergio Mendes, but his version ended up in Britain. Anyway, there's Mascanada with this one. Yeah, that was Georgie Benjo. I didn't know. I'm not heard his version. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was popular then, and it's what people think of when they think of Brazilian music. That's what people think in their head straight away. There's people who can remember Garota de Ipanema being famous because there's a duet with the American guy. Head slipped my mind. Frank Sinatra, that's the one. There's a Tom Job in Frank Sinatra's duet that people are old enough to remember either of them would think of. So that's what Brazilian music is to most people in Britain. That's their reference point. So they would know samba as a genre, and that's 2 songs. They wouldn't necessarily be able to name the songs. But if somebody hears Mascanada, they think, oh, that's Brazilian. They don't know the name or who it's by, but oh, that's Brazilian. That's what people think. They think of footballers doing tricks when somebody's playing a little bit of samba over it, because that's what you get on the TV when it's a World Cup and there's a Brazil game. There's some samba music out, and then they're showing, normally it's Gordon Banks saving Pele's header, and then there's that Carlos Alberto goal, and then there's probably some clips from 1982 as well. And yeah, that's how they introduced Brazil on British TV.
All right.
Old football tricks played over a bit of samba.
Football is so famous here, but besides it, which aspects did you feel much difficult to adapt yourself? Because I'm talking about the culture. So it's so
Generic
different
culture.
the way that we Brazilians behave, the way that you British guys behave. So this
Rich guys.
cultural difference. Yeah, the British guys.
Oh, British. Oh, but you said rich guys. I'm like, have you just put a lot of money in my bank?
No, I didn't say rich guy. The British guy.
British. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
British.
I misheard.
Yeah, not rich. Which aspects did you feel much difficult to adapt yourself in our culture?
People's timekeeping is actually the big one. I know you probably have the stereotypes about British people being punctual. Nobody in Brazil is punctual.
And vice versa, maybe.
Yeah. I've had, out of all the job interviews I've had, or any professional meetings where I've arranged to meet somebody, the only person who's turned up on time was a British guy who owned an English school. So the only time I've had an interview or an appointment that's actually happened at the correct time was with a British guy. So yeah, that's something to get used to.
They scheduled at 8, they were there at 8, and they didn't come.
Yeah. It's 8, it's 7:30, and they're kind of casual. You know, if somebody's half an hour late in Britain, they're apologising, and they're a bit embarrassed about being late.
I'm gonna teach you right now. About a specific time here, especially here in Salvador. You have when we schedule. Okay, we're gonna see each other at 9. We never say at 9 sharp. Mais ou menos 9. More or less at 9. So you have
it's
from
closer
9
to 10
to
or
10
maybe 11
to get there.
So you're not really late until it's a full hour late.
That's it.
Yeah. When you do classes like we do and it's an hour appointment, then the numbers on the watch really matter. So that's
9 and okay. A quarter past 9. So we're gonna be there at quarter past 9.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
all right.
Yeah, it's tough to get used to this.
Nice.
The heat. So the fact that I discussed this with my wife, she says, "Oh, it's your country that decided." I think she meant generally other Europeans as well. I don't know if Britain decided what all smart clothes look like in the world. I don't care about fashion. Apparently, my country influenced this fashion. Wasn't me. No. But anyway, wearing smart clothes, wearing trousers, wearing we call a social shirt, so we just call a shirt or a polo shirt outside in 30-degree plus heat. I'm like,
Hmm.
what's the problem with me wearing shorts and a vest everywhere in Brazil? Why do you need to dress like people in England? People in England dress that way because you would be frozen cold most of the year in shorts and a vest. That's why nobody wears shorts and a vest outside in England. Apart from right now,
Hmm.
for those of you who have not seen on the news, it's reaching 40 degrees in England. For the first time, possibly ever, England is hotter than Bahia. So there's been bushfires. It's like this thing's common in Australia. When it reaches 40 degrees, they get bushfires. That's happening in England.
Hmm.
And some people think global warming's not real. It is if England's got 40 degrees. Anyone that's been to England before would know it's not normal to be 40 degrees in England. The last time the temperature got into the 30s was in 1973, I think it was, the last time we had a heat wave, anything like this. So, yeah, it is summer,
Hmm.
but British summer's usually 20 something degrees. So this is nearly double a normal summer.
Hmm.
Uh, we
About, yeah,
possibly,
because maybe here people try to keep the appearance to show something. Okay, I need to wear to dress like I don't know, maybe elegant person to or
mhm,
behave like that, just to show something that they are
status.
not. Yes, this
Yeah,
made it by appearance only, because as you said, we have here different kind of temperatures through
yeah,
the year, but we don't have, especially here in Salvador, we don't have the winter as you know, people from the North Hemisphere.
yeah.
Here
It's
we
a
don't
little less
face
hot.
this kind. Yeah, we don't have. But even though we don't have this kind of temperature, we try to behave like that. So we put the this
Yeah,
kind of clothing you are talking about,
as
just to keep appearance.
yeah, I think it's average round sort of South Wild time when it's winter.
Hmm.
Is maybe 28 degrees instead of 34. So it's 28 degrees is
18
still hot to me.
degrees. 18 degrees here in Salvador is cold.
I've not, I don't think I've experienced 18 degrees
For us,
here,
by
but
young people, for us, we
yeah.
cannot stand. For example, stay there, live in a place when the temperature is under 0 degree, like Europe or United States, or especially in
I
the
think
south of Brazil, like I don't know, Florianopolis or Rio Grande do Sul, this kind of
mhm.
places.
Yeah, my wife and I have a friend to visit in Florianopolis because my wife had discovered that obviously because it's Rock and Rio, the flights to Rio de Janeiro and back are very expensive. So we're going to visit. It's better value to visit a friend in Florianopolis, then go to Sao Paulo and visit another friend, and then go to Rio. It costs nearly the same as going to Rio and back without going anywhere else. That's explain that to me. So Florianopolis is I don't know how many hours, 6. It's almost Uruguay or Argentina or wherever. It's almost
Yeah.
that far, and it's working out better value to go there, come back by Sao Paulo, get the overnight bus into Rio de Janeiro, and then I think we're getting a normal flight home. That's still expensive. How are you doing today, bro? Raymond, I'm doing fine. Bit of a busy morning, but it's good to have a live. Not had a live in a while, and uh,
Who's Raymond? Is your friend from England or Brazilian
I,
friend?
I'm not sure if I know Raymond.
Okay. Mhm.
Thing is, I always go around looking for people to follow who are interested in learning English because they're following another English teacher or another learn English page. Some will follow back, some won't.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I find people to
Okay.
interact with
Yes.
in my English learning community. So there's that.
Perfect.
Uh, tudo bem com você? Tá tudo bem. J. Vitor. Yep.
Hello, Jota. Jota, it's better you to speak English with him.
Yeah. You speak English. it's not a very good live to go into if you don't understand English. It's just to practice listening when I do lives. I don't like to do lives in Portuguese because I don't think it has any value. If there is only advanced English learners who can understand,
Yeah.
that's that's
Yeah,
good.
you need to have the focus. If you want to learn English or French or Spanish, it doesn't matter the language we are trying to learn, you need to keep the thought straight to the targets we are looking forward, you know? So it's not, I don't see sense when you try to learn English or try to speak or keep a communication, thinking in Portuguese and translated thoughts. So this is not a good idea. It's not a good way to develop these skills about learning a foreign, non-native language. You know? So my advice, my students, is try to think in English and speak what comes to your mind. Doesn't matter if you'll
Yeah,
be right or wrong. I really don't like these terms, right, wrong. You know, so
yeah, I know what you
what is
mean.
acceptable, what is not acceptable, and I will guide you in the right way to pronounce or to handle with that situation.
Hmm.
And when I talk to you, for example, you are from a region there in England that you have your specific accent to handle to speak English.
Hmm.
It's totally different, for example, from a guy, a North American guy, for example.
Yeah, completely
And
different.
there, United States, yeah, there, United States, they have different kind of accent. A guy from
There's
Alabama
a few.
is different from a guy from, I don't know, New York City, for example.
Yeah,
And so these differences in the accent brings us the condition to handle different skills, different aspects of the language. And this is
yeah,
amazing. It's different to talk a guy from New Zealand, Australian, India, you know. As I told you, English is no more something that belongs to United States only, or England only,
they never belonged to
or
them
New
only.
Zealand.
It was in Britain before it went there.
That's it. So English is around the world nowadays. I
Yeah,
don't know if you know, of course, maybe you know, in Scandinavia, for example, children
yeah,
are raised learning both language, the local one, the
yeah.
mother tongue, and English. That's
Yeah,
around the world.
Scandinavians quite often speak very good English. If you look, for example, there's two bands from Scandinavia that have been successful globally. Neither of them has sung in a Scandinavian language. There's been Aha and there's been ABBA. They're both has-beens, of course, but
Europe, Europe, aha, how about Europe? They
yeah,
are from
Europe.
Scandinavia. Yeah,
They were
yeah,
Scandinavian. They hid that well. um,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you sing in English, write your songs in English, and people don't see you've got a full-on Viking name. Then maybe don't know. So,
Uh-huh.
you,
It's in English.
even with accents of Scandinavians, they don't sound very sort of strong like the foreign. They could pass for being British, some of them. Um, and Jota Vito envion so you know Jota Vito.
What did he say?
He's he says he'll join in. Let's accept him. Let's talk to him. Yeah, he should be joining us now. There he is.
Ah, okay.
Vito, Jota Vito. How are you
Hello,
doing?
man.
Opa, bom.
Hello.
Hello. Do you hear us?
Can you listen? Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
Uh, he's outside. He's
Yeah,
he's not
I
got
don't
very
know,
good
but
signal. There he is. Where are you now? It's no.
oh, okay, Gareth, talking about the different accents that we were talking about right now about the experience of the Scandinavian people. Can you bring us a kind of specific explanation as a native speaker over the different accents spoken around the world? So Brazilian, Scandinavian, Chinese people, non-native speakers, you know, the way that we handle with English over your point of view? What do you think about these different accents?
It's, um, I think there's countries that have it as an official language that actually have their own dialect. So obviously they always talk like the British and American English in terms of grammar are actually different, and the for example Australian English, there's a few vocabulary differences. Not as many as there is between Britain and USA, but there are a few vocabulary differences there, and
Mm-hmm.
you have certain words that enter from other languages. So it's happened with Brazil and Portugal. There's like fruit names that have come from indigenous Brazilians.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there are some English words that are used globally that have come from Native Americans, such as barbecue, tobacco, hurricane. I don't know. I think there's a lot of the words for natural disasters. For example, hurricanes. I think tornadoes probably similar as well, because they are things that don't happen in Britain. So we wouldn't have a word if British people had never left Britain ever, and we wouldn't have a word for a hurricane or a barbecue because we have too much rain for a barbecue. Our idea of eating barbecue came from North America. Um, a tornado or a hurricane wouldn't happen in Britain, so we wouldn't have a word for something if we didn't know it existed. So there are some words like that get brought in. There's other borrowed words. Um, there's a word that's shampoo comes from Hindi, so that's a word from India, and you get many borrowed words. Do you know this, Marcus 333?
Yeah, there is the contact with different languages as well. As I said about tobacco, is a word that its origin is from the native from the United States, the indigenous people. The
Mm-hmm.
contact with English, they brought the English vocabulary, as I said. But about the accent, what do you think
Yeah,
about, for example, the way that the Scandinavian people speak and the way that Brazilians speak English? Which ones are the difference between our
I
accents?
think the Scandinavians sound a bit more like British people do because I think most of their access to English learning materials are from Britain. Most of their contacts with the language and cultures from here. With Brazil, I think there's much more contact with um, with the USA. Another difference is because for example, for Germans and Scandinavians, English is easier to pronounce. The words are because English is a mixture of. It started off with there's some ancient Celtic words. I'm not sure exactly which these are, but they're the indigenous English words.
The
Then
Gaelic
there's
language, the
yeah,
Gaelic language.
yeah. It's a bit like Gaelic could be in Ireland or Welsh in Wales, but it's so buried under everything else. Start to know what English people are speaking before the occupations of the Romans. I left some Latin. The Vikings that left Norse. So Norse
Normandy,
will
the
be,
Normandy people.
yeah. So there's been French left. There's been German left from the Saxons. The Danish version of Norse. So we've had ancient Scandinavian accents and ancient German accents and Latin all mixed. So people who are from
Correct.
a Scandinavian country, a lot of the sounds of
Difference.
words are probably quite similar. I can't speak any Scandinavian languages, not even a little bit. But if you hear German, they do just sound like angry. If you didn't speak English, you'd probably think they sound like angry English people. They do sound very angry all the time, the Germans, even if they're talking about being happy.
The way that they
So,
speak, yeah, is so different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um,
And
that's one of the
and
things.
about the phenomena called Cockney.
Yeah, they're just a weird group of people. It does. Some
What do you
people
say
think
weird, man?
it's different. People
Uh,
think some people will label people cockneys who aren't in fact cockneys. Uh, that's my wife asking me to do something. I'll have a look at that in 25 minutes anyway. Um, the cockneys come from East End of London, so some people think everyone in London's a cockney. No, not most people in London aren't even English, first of all. But yeah, certain people in the north of England who just want to be derogatory about people in the south will call anybody in the south half of the country a cockney.
uh,
It's not really true either. Uh,
uh,
I've included myself in saying bad things about Southerners sometimes. They say many bad things about us. But there is a place called Bow Bells, so it's a set of bells in a church. If you were in earshot, so you could hear it, of Bow Bells, you were a cockney. But that's that's different now. London's a lot noisier, so people who can actually hear Bow Bells is much less than it was when they started making being a cockney a thing. So uh, a famous cockney, probably the most famous one, Michael Caine, the actor.
Michael Caine, maybe he's the most
Yeah,
famous. Yeah.
he's a
Uh,
cockney. Some people said other people are
Ferguson.
cockneys, but
What is about the Ferguson's accent? Is Cockney?
who's
Ferguson, the
Ferguson?
coach.
Sir Alex Ferguson. He's from Glasgow. He's
Yeah,
Glaswegian. He's not cockney. No, he's
it's
Glaswegian.
about Cockney. No, it's different. It's
No, no, no.
Scottish.
Yeah, he's Scottish. Glaswegian accent. That would be Glasgow.
Man, it's a little bit. It's not English.
Yeah, Scottish people can be difficult to understand. You'd have to
Totally
spend quite.
difficult. Totally difficult.
You would get used to Scottish people, but if you're new to learning English, they're not the easiest to listen to. But yeah, so I think Michael Caine's the most famous Cockney.
Yeah.
For example, for people who watch the Premier League, West Ham and Crystal Palace, most of their fans will be Cockneys because that's East London and South East London. Which I think is another team that's in the Premier League now that people will know. Yeah, so Crystal Palace and West Ham are the Premier League clubs with Cockney fans. There's many other teams in London, but they're in other suburbs, and they have it is a working class London accent. So if you compare, for example, say a famous place like Chelsea and Fulham are two Premier League clubs now. They're in a very rich area in the west of London. So they sound very, we'd say posh in England. You'd say chic. The Americans would probably say fancy because they don't say posh in America. So they all talk like the Queen or like Hugh Grant, the really posh actor. he's like
Yeah, no, I know. I know that.
he's like the poshest
Mhm.
person in Britain who's not in the monarchy. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that real extreme. So you've got the very wealthy middle class suburbs towards the west. In the east, you've got the working class area. As Cockneys, people have this stereotype that they sound like they're trying to sell you a second hand car. There's a very good TV program with a Cockney accent called Only Fools and Horses. It's considered classic comedy. Might be difficult to understand, very strong Cockney accents, and there is the rhyming slang that I don't know much of because I'm from the north of England. I don't mix with these people, but they'll pick two words, and the second word rhymes with the word they mean. But to make it more confusing, they don't say the second word. That's the important one that rhymes. For example, I can see your face. Cockney, I can see your boat race. How they would actually say it, I can see your boat.
Uh-huh.
So somebody who's not a Cockney has no idea what they're talking about. So
Yeah, so
it's
yeah.
not you what most tourists into London won't meet any Cockneys because there isn't much to see in terms of tourist attractions in the East End of London. There's the Olympic Village. I don't know if that's in the East End of London. I don't know if people go there or not. It's far away from the main tourist sites there. So that's a very different accent. different
There
group of
are
people.
some specific words that maybe they exaggerate a little bit. So, for example, about the word father, how do they say father? How do they pronounce?
I'm not going to do any fake accents, but you,
No? Yeah.
nah,
Well, according my researches and my studies, they use like pava,
yeah, there is
mava.
a yeah, there is a soap opera full of Cockneys called EastEnders. I don't know if you'll find it on YouTube or whatever, but that's absolutely full of Cockneys. And yeah, I I've
It's
not
so
actually done any
different, no?
research on. Yeah,
Paque, pava, mava, brova. Yeah, I don't know
yeah,
this way.
the the
When I
yeah,
heard
do
singing
become
for the
it.
first time, I thought, no, they are trying to. This is a joke. Why do
No,
they
no,
do that? No.
it's yeah, it's like that, and a lot of Southeast England's a bit like that. So yeah, a lot of ERs become as when people from my region be saying father, a bit father. We've got a lot more regional slang actually than a lot of parts of England. We're full of regional slang.
Yeah.
We've got something. Uh, yeah,
About slangs, I'm not so aware. I don't know many things about slangs. So maybe I should be there, at least living for a period. But what got my attention the most is the way that the world uh, handle with English as a lingua franca. You know, English is the language of the communication among
yeah.
the trade, technology, business,
It's the
sports,
US
art.
influence. It's the if you look at the big computer companies that started, where you had Apple and Microsoft. They were the first two real giants of computing, and they are uh, the ones that are. They're the ones that were dominant, and they dominated what's. They dominate the field. So if you look who created medicine, a lot of it, it's all in Latin because the ancient Romans probably started certain things, and Latin became a language of the academic elites. So uh, full anatomy is in Latin. It's just
Mhm.
describing what each body part looks like in Latin.
French, a little bit late, especially
You look at
invasion, Normandy
gastronomy,
invasions.
yeah. You
What you
look at
mean?
gastronomy. You look at gastronomy. It's very French dominant.
Yeah.
It was the
Hmm.
Italians that started gastronomy, but it developed a huge amount in France. So there's words we use in English that are French, and that's just because a lot of processes, the cordon bleu, all this stuff. And that's happened with English and technology because the US came up with the two really big
They set the bar.
companies.
Maybe they set the bar.
Yeah, there's a lot in Asia, there's a lot of big companies in Korea, Japan, but I think they realised that their language isn't well spread. China as well. Their language isn't well spread, and they decided to learn English to do the deals with the likes of the USA. Because
Mhm.
I think English speaking countries, principally Britain and US, I'd say this is the thing about it. There isn't the respect of foreign language learning that there is in some other countries. I think that there's a bit of complacency that, oh, the whole world speaks English, I don't need to try. It's tempting. I imagine if the whole world spoke Portuguese almost in the way English is spread, could all the people that are learning English with me, would they care if the whole world was speaking Portuguese? I think that happens, and it's a bit of a shame. I think you miss out on some interesting experiences, not ever learning another language, but I think you have this kind of complacency. I don't think arrogance is necessarily the right word. It's the every time I've gone abroad, people have spoke English to me. If you weren't getting good quality English spoken to you abroad, and you didn't understand anything, I think your answers would be different.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know that. Uh, what do you think? Brazil would be a better country. This is my opinion, okay? Brazil would be a better country if we were raised with our children were raised speaking English or another language, French or another one. I say in English because, as I told you, English is the lingua franca, so the world is speaking English. So
I don't think it
diplomacy,
would. I
trade,
think you'd lose
business,
your culture. I think what happened to your music and your poetry if it wasn't in Portuguese?
yeah, that's the point.
Do
So,
you think
but
bossa nova would sound as
we are
good
so far
in?
from this reality. We are so
Yeah.
far from this reality. You know? Politics in Brazil is not related to this aspect. So, in your
Hmm.
opinion, as a native speaker and living here in another country, here in Brazil, do you see in a short time, do you see that this reality can be different for us?
I don't think it changed that much. I think the issue is that there's certain jobs that require you to speak English, and the people who have access to learning English well, especially the upper middle classes that have the disposable income to buy an English course, to pay a teacher. Obviously, teachers deserve to earn the money. this They're working. Everyone that works deserves to earn the money.
Uh-huh.
But if it was done a more fair way, like if the government was going to pay me to teach a lot of poor kids and I didn't end up poorer because of it, I would agree to it. Because I think they deserve as much access to education as wealthier kids do. So I think I don't. I'd seen an interesting news piece here. It was about a month ago. They were saying that they wanted to improve the way English is taught in schools. This was academics saying this, but I knew it wouldn't happen. When you consider Wizard, for example, just naming one school, it's part of the Pearson group. I'm not saying anything bad about Pearson, by the way. I do some work for the publisher there. But if you think how powerful they are as an organisation, the biggest publisher in Brazil, they have an English school. Do they want the English in schools to be better so people don't buy their courses anymore? Do you think Cultura Inglesa want the school English to be brilliant so every child is leaving school fluent? No, they don't. They want people to pay them. They'll lose their payday. Do families of rich kids who, let's say engineering always has English speaking as a necessity. The people want their kids competing with more poor kids for the same jobs,
Mhm.
same university places. It's this kind of thing. There will be a lot of resistance from powerful rich people. I think it should be there for everybody. Would it hurt me financially? Not if there were more jobs in state schools for native English teachers. If it was for the benefit of all people to have this chance to study, there would be more work elsewhere, providing they don't exclude native teachers from public school work. I think I would agree with it happening like that. I would just work there instead. I'd work in a normal school to teach rather than privately. That would be better. I think I would agree that people with less condition having access is a good thing. I think society as a whole should pay for all children to have fair access to education. Just waiting for the boss of minions to start calling me a communist in the comments. It's not happened yet.
Maybe. All right, man. So yeah, now I need to leave because
That's
I
okay.
have to
Got a
work
class to
right now.
teach. That's okay.
I need to work right now. It was my pleasure being here with you. You know, when you
Yeah,
need
it was nice to talk
talk
again.
English.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll
we
see
can
what's
do
happened
it. If you
with the
prefer,
other
we
two
can
guys.
schedule. You can schedule at least once a month to talk
Yeah.
about our experience. You know, to
Hmm.
share the knowledge and share the experience. I can talk about my
Yeah.
experience in English, the way that I start learning, the way that I
Hmm.
handle nowadays with the language, the way that I work with that, the way that I try to improve every single day because okay, I work with that and I am able to talk to you or anyone, anywhere. But I need to do it every single day, you know, at least
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours. So it's something that I need to
Hmm.
do. And I can
Okay.
handle it, like I can share this experience with you. You know,
Yeah.
and let's get along.
So yeah, this video will be saved on my Instagram thing. It will also be available on YouTube. So yeah, if
Right.
you've missed most of it, you can watch it later on YouTube or on Instagram, whichever is your
Okay.
preference. Okay,
No
there'll be
worries.
details.
Anytime you
There'll
need, I'm
be
here. Next month, you'll be
okay.
back here.
Okay, sure.
See
See you
you.
later. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.